Well, at least Joe Biden is consistent. He's batting 1,000. In the last 50 years, he's been wrong about every foreign policy decision he's ever made. And I'm not just telling you reading history, I'm telling you living history. I've been a history and news nerd since I'm a teenager. I'm 55 years old. I watched this grifter in Washington his whole career, and he's always been wrong. Even President Obama wouldn't take his foreign policy advice. Joe Biden, if you remember, told Obama not to kill Osama bin Laden. It was a bad idea. Well, President Biden being our president is a bad idea. Now, you're not going to hear the media criticize him like they will. Sure, they'll give him a little bit of criticism, but like 1984, George Orwell media, they're going to eventually turn this to make this Trump's fault. But make no mistake, Joe Biden is the commander-in-chief, and he's been the commander-in-chief for nearly 8 months now. And I remember just last month hearing him on the news tell a reporter it's highly unlikely the Taliban will take over. Well, the Taliban has taken over, and where is Joe Biden? Hiding on vacation. Hasn't even come out, put out a press statement as of now. And it shouldn't surprise you. And it shouldn't surprise you that the media is going to cover for him. Do you realize the Taliban has tweeted out more information than Joe Biden has given us? I mean, just think about that. The Taliban has a Twitter account. These liberal billionaires who banned the President of the United States from Twitter allows the Taliban to have a Twitter account. Do you see what we're up against? These liberal billionaires covered for Joe Biden when he was running for president, as he hid in his basement like he's doing now. When the New York Post, the oldest newspaper in the country, the most legitimate newspaper for 100 years, had a story which now all the liberals admit was true about Hunter Biden losing his laptop and all these emails showing him smoking crack with Russian hookers, getting millions of dollars from the Chinese, millions of dollars from the Russians. These billionaire tech giants on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube ban this until after the election. Yet they're allowing the Taliban to just put out lies, misinformation, and propaganda. I made a video a few days ago predicting Joe Biden's Vietnam, and it's happening. This is happening. Men are being slaughtered, children are being raped, women are being put as sex slaves. This is what the Taliban does. And it was so avoidable and it was so predictable that Joe Biden would make a failure with foreign policy. He's failing everywhere. This is the worst president in the history of the world. And it's so predictable. And when he's seen the Taliban taking city after city, his response was to beg the Taliban not to be so vicious. That's what he said. Please show some mercy. So it's like asking Hitler to show mercy on the Jews. Is this guy that far out of it? Is he that far gone? You know, we all know he's senile. And we all know he's a puppet of the left. You know, he probably got Susan Rice and Obama pulling his strings. But is he that far gone that he would say something so stupid? And then even, this foreign policy is a mess, but domestically, we're dying over here. You know, I just seen a laid off Keystone pipeline worker. Just this morning, I'm watching him live, and he's talking, saying how furious he is, that he had a good paying. I mean, these are $100,000 a year blue collar jobs that Biden just shut down. And he said he's finding work around the country, you know, making a little bit of money, patching up old pipelines, when we were replacing them with a brand new pipeline. Biden just shuts it down. So of course, you know, oil is a commodity, so everything's speculation. He's shutting down leases. I personally know people that work on oil fields in West Virginia, and their lease has been canceled. So as soon as they finish this job, they're out of a job. Another $100,000 a year job. These are blue collar jobs that pay $100,000 for men who are willing to work hard. And most American men are willing to work hard to provide for their families. But Biden doesn't want that. Biden wants everybody sitting at home collecting a check so he can turn this into another socialist country. And if you don't believe me, look at the latest poll. 60% of Democrats say they prefer socialism over capitalism. Well, I think we should do a socialist exchange program. For every Democrat who prefers socialism, they should switch places with someone in Cuba or Venezuela that knows the reality of socialism, that know the realities of Joe Biden's policies, what's coming our way, Venezuela's heading. So, as Joe Biden is on vacation, several news organizations are reporting they tried to contact Jen Psaki, his press secretary, and they get an instant reply, I'm on vacation for the next week. So they're on vacation. While the freaking world burns, Biden and Psaki are on vacation. And it shouldn't surprise anybody because during the whole campaign, this guy was on vacation, hiding in his basement. So, our only hope is this, that people will wake the freak up, Don't listen to the major news medias because it's all propaganda. It's all propaganda. They got this guy elected, and they're going to keep him propped up like the puppet he is. But listen to the men on the border when the news is saying it's not that bad. Listen to the Border Patrol guys that come on and say, this is the worst in freaking 20 years I've been a Border Patrol cop. Listen to the cops in the street that's saying the Democrat policies are having their cops killed, and crime is through the roof because of the Democrat policies. Listen to the oil worker who got laid off. And just believe your eyes when you see gas at $3 a gallon. Remember, Trump had it down to about $1. He unleashed in 50 years, the first time in 50 years, America was energy independent. Now, Biden's getting a little worried about gas prices because he's afraid it's going to hurt his Democrats in 2022. So what does he do? The logical thing would be, okay, I made a mistake. Let's unleash America power and energy. No, he asked OPEC. Again, the Middle East that hates us. We're back to these old policies, these failed policies, dependent on Middle Eastern countries that hate us to produce more oil. He asked them, please, OPEC, produce more oil to bring our prices down. When we have the capability, we have more oil in America than the Middle East does. This guy is just a failure. He's just a failure. And, when I came out as a blue-collar Catholic endorsing Trump, everyone was like, well, I know Trump's the most pro-life president that we've ever had, but, we got to think about war and peace and immigrants. This guy, we got a crisis, a humanitarian crisis on the border because of Joe Biden's policy. People coming over with shirts, you see them, it's there. You believe your eyes. We love Biden coming over the border with these shirts on. We see them. Now we have a huge humanitarian crisis in the Middle East, in Afghanistan. These people are being slaughtered. They're literally, the Taliban is going to houses, killing the husband, raping the children, and throwing the wives into the army as sex slaves. This is what's happening right now under Biden's watch. He can blame Trump all he wants, but he's the commander-in-chief for the past 8 months. What was happening in the Middle East under Trump? We signed historic peace deals. We haven't had a peace deal since 1979. The media made fun of his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, going over there. He's like, he's an amateur. He's not going to be able to get a peace deal. All our intellect elite members of the Democrat Party couldn't get a peace deal. This kid ain't going to get a peace deal. He got 5. I forget the names. And the first one was UAE, then Bahrain, Sudan. We were making peace in the Middle East. These countries that hated Israel were shaking their hands, recognizing Israel as a state, which has never happened. And we had many more saying they were going to come on. And then when Biden comes in, now they're scared because Biden doesn't want that. Biden thinks Israel's bad, So there's so much going on that could have been avoided. So predictable. But as Catholics, we have hope. Our hope is not in any government. Our hope is in Jesus Christ. So we just need to pray that the Lord uses this somehow this horrible, terrible situation for his good. Let it be a backlash to wake people up. So we just deny these socialist, communist people who call themselves Democrats any power. We need to deny them at the polls. We need to defeat them. We need to take a majority. Freedom-loving Americans need to take the majority in the House and the Senate in 2022. So you got to register, you got to vote, and you got to stay informed. Don't trust the major news medias. They're all Democrats. The latest poll showed like 99% of people working at NBC were Democrats, 98% of ABC were Democrats, 99% of CBS were Democrats, and CNN and MSNBC, that's, it's got to be 100%. Even Fox News, it's like split 50-50. So, we're up against the biased media. And like I said, the tech giants, forget it. They're suppressing the news and just putting on what they want. These billionaires have so much power with social media. I mean, just think about it. They banned the president of the United States on Twitter, but they allow Taliban to tweet. Think about that for a minute. God bless and stay Catholic.